Hello everybody and welcome to Bonsai Pop. My name is Mike. Today we're going to be taking a look back onto the year of 2019. But before we do that, let's take it one step farther and go back to October of 2018. At that time, the guys and I over at Treesicle had decided that we were going to branch out of video games into anime and start a brand new channel. By December 2nd, 2018, we knew that the channel was going to be called Bonsai Pop, and on February 23rd, 2019, we dropped our first videos, one a deep look at ReZero by yours truly, and the other a story you never knew on Cowboy Bebop by my co-host Grant. Now, we had no idea how the channel was going to go, how it was going to perform, if it was going to work at all, but it was just something that we really wanted to do, and personally, I wanted to turn my love for anime into something. And in 10 months, I think we did that, to say the least. In that amount of time, we managed to cover 43 individual anime. I got to guest star on the Anime Uproar podcast with Nux and the crew, and I even got to guest star on Dodger's Manga Pod thanks to our good buddy Lou. We contributed to Anitubers in Space, which was this year's giant collaboration between many channels. It was very cool. Shout out to Mr. Nice Guy who did an excellent job editing that, and we even made it into the officially unofficial Anitube Rewind 2019. We started our own merch line, we kept up with our growing Patreon. I love you guys. We made 51 videos over on Treesicle, and on December 23rd, 2019, exactly 10 months after the channel dropped its first videos, we hit 100,000 subscribers. None of this would have been possible without you guys. Just watching and being amazing, we appreciate you more than we could ever say. But if you wonder how we were able to do all of that, to make 94 plus videos and just keep going, the answer is you. Your comments, your patronage, the people who bought merch, the people who follow us on social media and interact with us and engage with us and tell us amazing stories. It is the fuel to the fire that is our team. But what if I told you there was more? What if I told you that besides the 43 anime that we covered, it was just a fraction of what I wanted to cover? Well, that is actually the case, and that is what this video is about. So let's take a look back at 2019 and all the stuff I wasn't able to talk about. So let's start this off with something that I would never do in a normal video. I'm not a big fan of top 10s. I kind of find them to be a little bit of a cop-out. I know that they help like growing people's personality and stuff like that, but to me, it's just not that engaging of a video, and lists are never definitive. But these are my top 5 anime of 2019 that were released in 2019. In my humble opinion. Number 5 would be Rising of the Shield Hero, if nothing else than for Raftalia, who is becoming contender number 1 for Best Girl next to Rem. I had a great time with this anime this year, and I'm definitely sure that I will watch it again. It's a very good isekai. It's dark, but it also has some humor. I liked it a lot. Number 4 is Kaguya-sama Love is War. This show was super fantastic, completely underrated, very weird, a bunch of fun, had a very frenetic energy, and the characters are great. Like, we did a video on it, so I definitely recommend checking that out, but the amount of character and fun that these people can have in almost just one room is great. And it's like 3 episodes per episode. It's hard to explain how good this is without actually having you check it out, so I definitely recommend that. Number 4, that's Kaguya-sama. Number 3, coming in the middle spot, is Dr. Stone. This one is an absolute must-see for the year. It's a shonen anime that throws out the typical power fantasy and is totally carried by the main character Senku, who's like an evil scientist with a heart of gold. It's also kind of an isekai, but it does its own spin on that as well, and it is very good. And it ends in a way, at least this season does, that you probably wouldn't expect, but it's very heartwarming, and it just shows a different side of what shonen can be, and I really appreciate that. And on top of that, you can actually learn some legitimate information from the show and kind of, you know, widen that brain of yours. Number 2 would be Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba. This one kind of precedes itself with people like Ninja saying it's their favorite anime of all time or whatever, but the art style in particular on this one that is brought to us by UFO Table or Ufotable, however you want to say it. I say UFO Table, that is a way cooler name than Ufotable. And Yoshiaki Kawajiri worked on it as well, which is very cool, doing the storyboarding. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. But at its core, it is a great shonen with a lot of heart. I'm a sucker for demons and samurai, so if that's your jam, then so is Demon Slayer. Also, Nezuko really helped make 2019 what it was. Between the memes and her kicking heads right off of people's shoulders, she really helped round out that show, and I recommend it. And number one, finally, the top anime of 2019 is Domestic Girlfriend. That's right, Domestic Girlfriend is my top pick of 2019. It is a scandalous love triangle complete with a big gay yakuza and everything. It's hot, it's dirty, it's funny, and I fully loved the shit out of it. 10 out of 10, would watch again, even though I already have watched it again twice. It feels good. You see, the one thing that people may not have gotten from our channel this year is that I absolutely 100% have no taste in anime. So I figured at 100,000 subscribers, I would just out myself as the trash that I am. Now, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love and adore everything that we've covered on the channel this year and all the great, amazing pieces of work that we're going to cover in the future. But if you were to walk into my room at any given time, I probably wouldn't be watching something like Ghost in the Shell or some, you know, very highly rated anime movie like Your Name. Obviously, I'm an 80s, 90s, 2000s guy, but even you could probably tell by the videos like Ninja Scroll and Wicked City, exactly the type of anime watcher that I am. And while the things that we watched were extremely fun to cover and they make excellent content and they're things that everybody should watch, it's not necessarily what I spend my free time watching all the time. So let's get into that. Besides the 43 anime that we did talk about this year, I also watched Steins Gate, which is this really amazing show. Its reputation precedes itself, so I recommend that you go and check it out. I also watched Parasite, which was absolutely amazing. That's all I have to say about it. If you like weird body horror, it's kind of got this old school feel to it, even though it's a newer anime. It's very good. That's Parasite with a Y. You should check that out. I also watched Golden Kamuy, which I liked a lot. I'm a big fan of Hokkaido and the interesting history of the ancient Japanese people that exist there. It's a very good show. Definitely check that out. And The Ancient Magus Bride, which was absolutely heart-wrenching, and it was just so good. It's this fantasy, this girl, and she's so sad, and then there's this skeleton guy, and you should check it out. Definitely check that one out. We will absolutely be doing a video on it in the future. I don't know when, so don't ask, but Ancient Magus Bride, up there. I watched Akami Ga Kill, which is amazing. We're also going to be doing a video on that in the future, and I checked out God Eater, which was pretty good. But I'm still trying to act cool for some reason, so let's get into all the others. Most of what I enjoyed this year is just complete garbage, like Konosuba, which I watched twice and absolutely thoroughly enjoyed. I also enjoyed Harukana Serve, and I don't really know why. I guess I just have a thing towards volleyball. I rewatched High School DxD twice, and I got the 4th season on DVD for reasons. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon? Season 1 and 2 are pretty good. Took me a little bit to get into them, but once I did, I very much enjoyed those shows. Goblin Slayer was amazing, but I don't know if it belongs in this part of the list. It's hard to say. There's definitely trashy parts about that. But Monster Musume is absolutely a contender for this year's Trash Awards. I mean, what can I say? It's like Rosario plus Vampire, but worse. I watched the entirety of In Another World with my smartphone, and I have no excuse for that, but I really liked it. And How Not to Summon a Demon Lord was pretty enjoyable. Gate was actually extremely good on its own. I don't even think that it belongs in this trash section. But then of course there is Why the Hell Are You Here, Teacher? And My Girlfriend is a Show Bitch. The former being better, honestly, Show Bitch isn't that good, but Why the Hell Are You Here, Teacher? Just the audacity of it has just like sent it up like exponential levels. I can't wait till that comes out unedited. Honestly, I consume so much harem and ecchi anime that I legitimately don't remember everything that I watched this year. Mostly because a lot of it is the same. It's like soap operas, but with boobs. But I did watch Umaro-chan again twice. And that's not really trash, but it's just weird because I'm a 28-year-old dude. I did check out Bakemonogatari for no reason and ended up binging the whole show. I don't know if it was good, but it was definitely weird. And of course, I rewatched Ikitosen and a bunch of other anime just like it, like High School of the Dead, which isn't actually just like it, but I did rewatch that too. And honestly, like I said before, I legitimately can't remember everything that I watched this year, especially when it comes to like Garbo stuff like that. But I mean, it's like popcorn, you know? You just keep eating it. But I did watch Domestic Girlfriend 2 or 3 times. I did do that. So let's move on from that to another highlight of 2019 for me. And the funny thing is that when we started this channel, I told myself that I was not going to be reading manga. In fact, I believe I said it in a video. I was like,
speaking of which, we are not going to be going into manga a ton on Bonsai Pop. If it's pertinent to a subject, of course, we're gonna cover what's necessary, but we're here to talk about anime specifically, which is ostensibly its own thing.
That lasted 2 videos. The second I started watching Promised Neverland, I was like, fuck this, I'm not waiting for it. And thanks to our channel artist, Go Saibu, we went out and we got all the manga that was available at the time. And when I finished that, I got a subscription to Shonen Jump, and my life was over from that point on. I've done a lot of reading this year. I'm currently caught up on The Promised Neverland. After 2 episodes of Demon Slayer, I did the same thing that I did with The Promised Neverland and read all of it. I'm currently caught up on that as well. I read all of Kenshin before we did our video on it, and I started One Piece with another Anatuber whose content I fell in love with earlier this year, Isla McTeer, and I totally wrecked her by reading the whole series in like a month. Come on, Isla, let's go. I'm also still up to date on One Piece, for the record. I read all of Black Clover, which we didn't get to cover this year, but we will cover in the future. But we did cover Berserk, which I read all of, and I'm still waiting on new chapters for. I also finished all of Tokyo Ghoul, so that we can do a follow-up video to the one that we did last year. And finally, I'm up to date on Attack on Titan and Dr. Stone, which are both equally awesome, and I'm currently reading Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai, and I'm up to Arc 6 on ReZero because the translators finally finished Arc 5. Good job, guys. That is like such a crazy accomplishment. The translators have done such a good job on that series, and like it's not short. ReZero is so long. Oh, and I'm also up to date on Samurai 8, which is made by the same guy who wrote Naruto. I don't really know how I feel about that one yet, so I can't exactly recommend it, but it is definitely interesting, and it's not really something that's been done before. That's definitely for sure. But reading has been an amazing experience. Manga allows you to get much closer to the creator of the actual series than anime could ever allow you to. It's a super comforting pastime, and to be honest, I just don't have the money to support American comic books anymore like I used to when I was like a 9-to-5 guy, or more like a 9-to-9 guy, but I'm sure we'll get into that in the future. The Shonen Jump app, obviously not sponsoring this video, but it is like $2 or $3, and it's hundreds of thousands of pages of manga and new updates, and it's just like all you ever really need. Anyway, unfortunately, I don't have time to get into everything that I've read and watched this year, but those are some things that I wasn't able to talk about, and I finally got to just admit to everybody that I'm a piece of garbo. Just garbage man. Just watching things with jiggly boobs. But it's the end of the year. We're going into a new year. We're going into a new decade, and we got lots of stuff coming up for you. We got some really interesting things planned for the anniversary of the channel, which is, like I said, in February. It's the birthday. I've been making an effort to get into the Gundam series, which I'm currently watching right now on my own. And me and Go Saibu are watching Food Wars while we eat dinner and stuff like that. So I'm really, really liking that one. Anyway, guys, our next video is going to be a very, very special, completely different type of video on One Piece. We want to start the new year, we want to start the new decade off right, so that's the one that we're going to do, so stay tuned for that one. Is going to be very cool. In the meantime, I recommend checking out our Patreon. That is how you can get in touch with us super easy, by joining our exclusive Discord that way. I hope that all of you had an excellent holiday. And again, thank you guys from the bottom of our hearts for 100,000 in 10 months. It's absolutely incredible, and we are honored to be here with you. So, for the last time in 2019, I'm Mike. This is Bonsai Pop. Buy our merch. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.